Hello, on this Veterans Day, Sunday, 2018. So there's going to be a lot that I'm going to try to get in for today's video. That'll be closer to 10 minutes. So let me get started. Veterans Day, like I said last night, honor my father who was in the Navy. My uncle was a squadron commander in the Air Force. My cousin, graduate of the Air Force Academy, and all the other veterans out there. There is about, can I scratch my neck, Sherry? I'll do neck, but definitely not face, I know. and I'm serious. 8% of our current population is serving in the military or has served. Maybe 23 million of us, something like that, 8%. So, and at any given time, currently serving in the military is something like 1.5 million. And more women serving. Fantastic, let's share it. So, and that's another subject. I don't think in terms of the combat part as much, but we'll talk about that later. But veterans, so my book, that I think it's going the right direction. It just looks backwards to me. I used a pen name because I was working territory sales manager of a big corporation, and I didn't want them saying, hey, you got this book, how did you work and do that at the same time? So I kept it separate. So I need to change this to JK, and so I'm not getting royalties right now. I have before, not much. It's probably sold 200 copies. No marketing. It was small publisher in Nashville area. But up here it says, A Cure for the Politics of Hate, Culture Wars, and More. LYE is Love Your Enemies. And I wrote this in 2007. And it's all about immigration. The A Club, meaning all countries are just giant clubs, and the people who are in the club get to decide who becomes members, who doesn't, who comes in. They have front doors and back doors, etc. So all that's going on right now with immigration, I get it right there, is in this book. I want to try to update it and get it so that I make sure I get the royalties, and then I'll market it. But one of the things I did, I have sections of what a club would have, and what does a club celebrate? What did I call this section? The events calendar. So November is Veterans Day, initially Armistice Day, celebrating the end of World War I in the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month at 11 a.m., 11/11/1918, Veterans Day. In the United States is a day to honor all Americans who have served in the U.S. military, both during wartime and in peacetime. And of course, contrasted with Memorial Day, which is for those who have died in service to their country. On Veterans Day, Americans thank the living veterans for their service to the country and recognize that all who have served the country, not just those who have died, have made sacrifices and done their duty. It's an official federal holiday. So I hope you're enjoying your Veterans Day and honoring the veterans. The next thing is my birthmark. I want to have people try to figure out my birthmark that I have on my thigh. But I took a picture of it, so I'm not going to wear shorts and show. But eventually I can verify it's my thigh. It's on my right thigh, right by my knee. And I'm going to go over that a little bit more. So is my birthmark. I was born with that on my right knee. And I want... This is and now for something completely different section of my videos. Does it look like a country? Does it look like a body of water, a lake? What country does that look like? Or what is that in the shape of? And that's my knee. So that's how I see it. But I guess people who are looking at me, there's my big old fat soccer thigh. So you can see my other foot. And I was wearing shorts when I took the picture, but I have a big fat soccer thigh, and it's seen a lot of, I'm a veteran of sports. I've seen a lot of better days. And so that's the birthmark. I can't believe I'm doing this But anyway, oh yeah, an article in online today, and it's Fisk-Smith, and you can go to I think it's microweb.com. He's a video guy. And he wrote an article about George, first from the perspective of videos and citizen journalists, and then he highlights George as the leader. And then he had a nice thing to say about me this summer. His shows are entertaining, and during the dog days of summer, as George was in D.C., he produced segments with J.K., an equally affable and talented musician who lightened up the dark discoveries. So it's really nice to know that is what the idea was. George will be working all day and really going into the heavy stuff and using his dark humor. And then I would show up to mock the ruling control freaks, excuse me, and get a perspective and ask questions and try to verify things that I knew a lot of the listeners were trying to verify. So cool article. To get to it, you would just go to Community Bulletin Board location, I don't know, Fisk-Smith, so you'll find it that way. So the ingredients of this channel, up here. So critical thinking code, all about critical thinking is about 60% of information literacy. So it's the biggest section is that. I guess, do I want to bring these up? I will. So where was I? So this is the foundation of this channel is critical thinking, the iFlap, information literacy action processor. It's just like the processor in a computer. It's a chip, the concept, but it's in us. Well, it's part of the noosphere and us and the connection. Then also Love Your Enemies, the song, the lyrics, and the golden rule. And then God has got all the power. Those are foundational to this channel. And then the AA to double C to double R information funnel that George, the way he phrased it. And I want to name the collaborators. I want to name my companions or colleagues on developing on this channel. So see if I can do this. Terry A, TiVo, Ian, Disco, Judy, Margie, Terry Terry O'Connor, Sherry S, Connie, Mike Outdoors, Sherry, Rebecca, Lynn, Sean, Ollie, not sure how to say O-L-Y, Ollie, Cindy, and Tusana 12. Then the GoFundMe, thank you, for my daughter's college, Vince O, Constance Palmer, Jacques Woolley, Margie Sokolo, Margie again, Charlotte and Sokolo, hope I'm pronouncing that right, Charlotte Arsenault, Judy Lynn, Dorothea Pearson, Meep, Kenneth French, and Judy Anderson again. And then Patreon, Brent Shinneman, and George Webb, and Lynn, and Jerry Elizabeth Fisher, and Terry Voller, and Terry Shinchak. And I have 3 that are still there, Brent, Lynn, and Terry. I'm going to learn how to balance, okay, the time is coming up, the balance between YouTube, Patreon, and GoFundMe. So Patreon, thank you for your patience. I will get it so that stuff will go to Patreon first and then on here to YouTube. I'm also losing my voice, and I think that's it. I want to dedicate the channel to Jenny Moore and AS, a friend of my kids who passed from opiate overdose or that fentanyl. It's terrible, a year ago, right around this time. And then all those who are thirsting for God. And in terms of research, collaborators or companions and colleagues on this channel, research Book of Revelations and how it's relevant to today. All right. While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance